Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Hello and welcome to That WrestleTalk Show. This is Luke Owen, I'm Ollie Davis, and today we're talking, should the Shield reform? How can Bray Wyatt have a family now he's been chucked over to Raw? And how can we fantasy book the Wyatt family versus the club? If you want to go straight to those discussions, click the timestamps in the video description below, or if not, stay right here for some Rumble chat. Do you want to hear some comments, Luke?
I'd love to.
Yes, okay, so this is from 3 episodes we did last week. First up, we have Stuart, who is talking about you here.
Oh, yeah.
That guy on the left has incredible eye contact. He's really listening. Well done to him.
What did you say? That was a good job. Oh, mate,
I didn't get that. I was actually gonna start reading the comment again.
No, that's a very nice comment.
Anything
Thank you,
want to
Stuart.
say to Stuart?
No, well, thank you very much, Stuart. I do listen very intently to you because I like your ideas and I like hearing you talk.
I think you talk better.
Yeah.
I feel like when you start talking, we did a podcast yesterday for Flicker and Myth, and I looked at the waveforms afterwards, and there was a little bit for me, a little bit here for me. The rest of it was just these huge chunks of Luke.
My wife-to-be always says that I filibuster arguments.
Yeah.
That I think we talked about this in the podcast before.
You filibustered me before.
Well,
yeah.
I'll just talk incessantly. And after a while, you just give up on making your argument. You're like, I don't want to hear him talk anymore.
The crazy thing is, it's not like you speak slow. If you want to filibuster something, I would try and talk slowly because I need to fill as much time as possible to stop the progressive bills from going through the government.
Yeah.
Other political stuff. But you just talk really fast still.
Yeah.
I don't know how you manage it.
I just get ideas, man, and then I have to get those ideas out.
Speaking of ideas, Bullet285 has one. Maybe that's Bullet 285. Don't know how you pronounce that. Whether Roman is a face or heel, he is the most talked about wrestler out there who also creates the most buzz. Discuss.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's because that's the WWE argument, isn't it?
Yeah,
just like he's
getting a reaction.
He's getting a reaction, so clearly he should be the top guy. He gets a reaction.
Yeah,
and yet, I watch SmackDown and Shinsuke Nakamura comes out to the most overwhelming babyface pop you've ever heard, and so did AJ Styles.
Yeah,
and yet you're like, and these two guys are not the top babyfaces in the company. But yet the guy that you are saying is the biggest babyface company is a guy that is booed. Majoritively booed by its audience. I mean, that's being beaten up and being thrown into the back of an ambulance to chants of "You deserve it."
You deserve it. Thank you, Strowman.
That's not a top babyface. Yet Nakamura comes out, everyone sings his theme song, everyone chants Nakamura, everyone gets excited because he nearly kicks someone. That's a top babyface.
I must bring this up. I did on last week's episode when we did. What next for Shinsuke Nakamura, and I talked about heat transference and how I wish Nakamura kicked the Miz. He should have had some physical interaction on his debut. I am really excited to see his first bit of physical interaction now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said to you, man. He just needs to come out and just I didn't want him to say anything. When Dolph Ziggler's there going who are you? Who are you to step in the ring with me, fumbling over his words? I'd have just Nakamura just not say anything. And just wind him up without saying anything.
Or he should have just gone.
Yeah.
And the crowd. Nakamura.
Yeah, it's so great.
I like how I like the people in the crowd who have signs with I guess you would call them lyrics to Shinsuke Nakamura's music, but it's actually really onomatopoeias.
Yeah.
And it's just woo woo. Zack Ryder's probably reading it. Thinking, yes,
I'm over again.
See, True Long Island Ice Stories coming back.
And I hate to run over Bullet 285's points, but isn't it amazing how you start talking about Roman Reigns, but but people talk about him, and yet all that always builds to but isn't this guy a much better babyface?
Yeah,
because that's the truth of it.
Roman could be that babyface.
Yeah.
He's just...
he was that babyface.
He was that babyface.
At one point, man.
We'll talk about that in a bit because we're going to talk, should the Shield reform? I think that's probably, if you're not going to turn him heel first, that's the best way to get him cheered. Although, no, I'll come on to that.
This is the
First,
Rumble chat.
We have Chris Wagstaff.
Good, amazing
Wagstaff,
name. Amazing
Chris
name.
Wagstaff. When you both spoke about Backlash and No Mercy, this was last week, all old pay-per-views came back into my head. Vengeance, Armageddon, Great American Bash,
say, yeah.
No Way Out, Judgment Day, Unforgiven, So Cool back then, Fatal 4-Way, Over the Limit. I'm adding my own crappy ones in now.
Hell in a Cell.
He didn't say, Hell in a Cell sounds cool. I don't like that it's a gimmick pay-per-view.
Run it into the ground, yeah.
But yeah,
It's better than Fatal 4-Way, I suppose.
Man, No Mercy, Armageddon.
Yeah. Out of all those
it does
lists-
bring back a time.
Yeah, I mean, of all of those, like Great American Bash does bring back like the early days when they did the brand split, when they were like that 2006 era, which was rough. It was like those pay-per-views were rough to sit through. But like I love Armageddon. Do you know what Armageddon always makes me think of? That that 6-way Hell in a Cell they did.
With Rikishi?
Yes.
Yeah,
with,
off the top of the...
Yeah, with
Jesus.
Kurt Angle, The Rock, Rikishi, Undertaker, Triple H, and I can't remember now. I can't remember who I
Wait,
said.
let's go through these. There was Rock, Kurt,
Angle,
Triple H. So those were your top three. Undertaker, obviously. There was obviously
Triple H
Rikishi.
and Austin.
Oh, and Austin.
Yeah.
Was he in that?
Yeah, Austin was in that, yeah.
I did it for The Rock. Yeah, because it was when Austin was coming back. It was a year after Austin's neck surgery.
Yeah. Oh man, what a it's amazing if you go back and rewatch that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Because those were your top 5 guys and Rikishi. And
they were trying to build a new star.
Trying to build a new star out of him, but the problem with that feud or that build is that The Rock just kept beating him. So the Rikishi just didn't look good. And especially in the match, okay, so you had a match with Austin when Rikishi didn't get any offense in whatsoever, and the Austin just beat him up and then nearly ran him over.
Yeah.
And then The Rock just beat him in the next pay-per-view. So you're like, okay, well, this guy's a chump. Like, he's no top star. But then if you watch the rest of that pay-per-view, because all, like, the top 5 guys and Rikishi are in the main event, the undercard is, like, really stretched out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they've got like, man, we've got to try and fill this pay-per-view now.
Can Grandmaster Sexy team with Steve Blackman?
Oh, it was before those glory days.
Oh, it was the glory days. Did Steve Blackman ever do the worm in this?
No, he's not.
Was he just like the straight man act?
He was yeah, exactly, because Grandma Sexy was cutting these wacky rhyming promos, and then so Blackman was then just going like, I don't know what he's talking about. I like pizza, and then they'd walk off.
Let's move on to the last comment, and then we'll move on to our first topic from Super 8429. So a lot of people got the Super username before Super 8429.
Yeah.
Better luck next time. Yeah, you can be first. That's the big YouTube badge of honor.
It is, yeah.
I watched this before most other people. So he came up with a suggestion for what this show should be called. It's called That WrestleTalk Show now, so it's a bit late. But he said, the Luke and Ollie podcast of awesome.
Well, I mean, it's very true. This is awesome.
The Superstar shake-up had many strange moves, a few of which we will discuss in the upcoming segments. But one of them, of course, was Dean Ambrose, the Intercontinental title holder, I should have just said champion, moving from SmackDown to Raw, which puts him with his brethren, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, formally together The Shield. Should The Shield reform? It looks like they're going that way. What do you think?
The last time Roman Reigns was cheered like a babyface was at Survivor Series when they did that mini Shield reformation, putting AJ Styles through the announcer's table.
Yes, of course, because Dean Ambrose came back and turned on his own team
What a
member.
great moment it was as well, because
Yes,
all of a sudden the crowd just erupted because it's like, oh man, the Shield are back together. And all of a sudden Roman Reigns, beloved babyface again. Like, so I think that's probably the best way to kind of get him cheered. Like, Shield Roman Reigns is the Roman Reigns that people like.
The best way, and we know this before you hound us in the comments, is to turn him heel first, and then, just like Rocky Maivia, and then The Rock, and the corporate Rock, then people eventually start to cheer him because he's such a good heel. Well, first you make him heel, then you make him cool heel, and then he gets over as a badass babyface. Yeah. And then I guess that would kind of wash out any of the memories of the suffering succotash bollock chant, which is really, I think that stained him for a long, long time, and you really need a palate cleanser to wipe that clean.
Yeah.
But if that isn't happening, and we're working under the assumption that isn't happening because retired The Undertaker, and the night after he gets the most heel heat of anyone. Since Roman Reigns the previous year, I can't think.
There wasn't a heel on that show that got the heel heat he did.
I can't remember the last time.
No.
There was an 8-minute uninterrupted chorus of just pure heel heat.
Totally, yeah.
And he didn't say a word.
Yeah.
That's insane. It
As I
really
said,
is insane.
There is not a heel on that roster that gets the heel heat he does. Like, their top heels get cheered, mostly. Like, AJ Styles and Kevin Owens get cheered.
Oh,
like
Styles is definitely face now. But yeah, back when he was.
Yeah, back when he was heel. Like, he was cheered like a beloved babyface.
Yeah. So if that isn't happening, which it looks like it isn't, I guess if they want to make Roman popular again, or at least to get people cheer him, is to sort of Trojan horse him, smuggle him in using the Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose shimmer as a disguise.
I also think it's probably a really smart move on WWE's part, because you need something to distract from the fact that there isn't the Universal title to be defended on every pay-per-view.
That's a good point.
Because Brock's going to be holding it now until WrestleMania next year, one would assume.
Yeah.
So...
But just for people who don't know, this is the reported long-term plan for WWE, and that is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 34 as the main event, which Roman will win.
Yeah, so like let's do that. Let's crown this guy once again. It will work one day.
Yeah.
And so like I would have thought that if you're gonna like keep the title on Brock now until WrestleMania, you need to have a storyline on Raw that people can invest in, that you can split off and do various things. So if you have the Shield, that'll have like 6-man matches against people, but you can also have single match versions of that, or tag match versions of that. That's a great way to kind of spend the year distracting people from the fact that there isn't a title to fight over. You're just fighting over turf and supremacy.
Oh my God, that's music to my ears. That's exactly. We talked about this last week. Unfortunately, Vince McMahon doesn't like factions.
Yeah.
But there's such a big part of the Attitude Era. Of most of my favourite things, some of the best stuff over the last 5 years. Straight Edge Society, Nexus, we talked about last week.
Yeah.
We've got it down, and the Shield, of course, the Wyatt family.
Yeah,
remember when the Wyatt family and the Shield were going at it, and wasn't the Rhodes brothers as well? When the Rhodes
the Rhodes
took on
Scholars,
the Shield.
yeah. Not Rhodes Scholars, yeah. The
it was
Cody
Dustin
Rhodes and Goldust.
Yeah, and Goldust. And didn't they have an extra guy? Can't remember, but it was Daniel Bryan and Kane and someone
Ryback
versus
Ryback.
the Shield in their first match.
Yeah,
holy moly!
Oh, totally. And it's a reason why I love Sanity on NXT, because they're a cool faction.
Yeah,
they're just a cool looking faction.
That brings us on quite nicely to other factions we can create on Raw. So imagine you've got Brock Lesnar out of the picture. So I think the long-term thing is Payback. He's not defending his Universal title.
I thought he was going to be defending it against Braun Strowman. Yeah.
No. He's not booked for Payback. It's the pay-per-view afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm just going to say is Backlash.
Yeah, it could be.
That's where he's facing Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
And then I assume he'll have something at SummerSlam. But yeah, like you said, Brock Lesnar ain't going to be around a whole lot.
Yeah.
Do you really think he'll keep it all year?
I don't see the point in taking it off of him. If you are doing Roman Brock at WrestleMania, the best way to do that is if Rock's had a year of dominance. As well, like it rehabs him a little bit after his feud with Goldberg, where he did take a pinfall loss and got eliminated from the Rumble quickly, which people think really hurt his character. So it's good to kind of rehab him a little bit from that by having a year of dominance.
Yeah. So the way to replace that is we would have the Shield reform, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. But then you've got Bray Wyatt, who was drafted to Raw in the Superstar Shakeup. And we mentioned this, I can't remember if it was in this episode or the previous one, it all blurs into one, is that this seems to be a last-minute change. Because if you think about it, Eric Rowan was brought back last week.
Yeah, totally. To be the first member of a new Wyatt family.
Yeah.
Got a redid mask and everything. Do you know it's done by Tom Savini?
You're going to have to remind me who Tom Savini is.
Horror maestro Tom Savini, who did all the designs for Friday the 13th and all the special
cool
effects.
Gas mask, sheet mask.
He also did, I believe he did Triple H's costume for, and Kalisto's costume that no one saw when he was in the Geek Battle Royal.
Oh, bless.
Apparently, Tom Savini's doing loads of stuff with WWE at the moment to make wrestlers look cool.
That's awesome.
Make them look toyetic, I suppose would be the way you'd say it.
Well, cool toyetic. I mean, I would hardly say it's like
a bad word.
No, but you think you got toys like this guy. That to me looks toyetic, cutesy, almost like a Bratz. Isn't that hideous?
It is hideous, yeah.
It's like a Bratz doll version of The Rock.
Whereas, I like wrestlers that look genuinely toyetic. Because I'm quite a fan of the Authors of Pain. because they just look they look like action figures.
Great look.
Great look. They just look like big action figures.
Look at Kevin Owen on the back. Kevin Owens there. He kind of looks like Sami Zayn's face. That was pre-shave.
Now he just looks like James Corden.
We can make our own little carpool karaoke.
Anyway, what we were talking about was Bray Wyatt being on Raw and how he can he can rebuild. He can build like a brand new Wyatt family on the Red brand.
So Luke Harper and Eric Rowan are over on SmackDown. Oh, please do not make them a tag team.
They won't, no.
I really like Luke Harper as hey, when we were talking about the upper echelon of SmackDown,
that's right.
Luke Harper in the US title picture.
Oh, mate, love it.
Yeah, and then he can transition in between the two. Oh, yeah.
SmackDown's
good!
Until the draft happens, of course.
I've heard there's 2 drafts.
Ooh.
So that's why it was called a Superstar Shake-Up. Vince McMahon is apparently, this is rumour. This isn't from a reliable like Wrestling Observer or PW Insider. It's from one of the not as reliable sites, but they have said things in the past that's come to fruition. And it's not a WWE draft because Vince McMahon feels too limited by having just one draft a year. He feels like the matchups get stale, which they totally did around December time and through to WrestleMania, sure. So you would have one after WrestleMania, a Superstar Shake-Up, and then one after SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, yeah. Well, that's what I meant. There's another draft still to come.
Oh, I thought you meant next year.
No, I mean there's another draft still to come this year.
Oh, I see
That's
what
I'm
you mean.
saying. Like, what I said was SmackDown is going to be great this year.
I'm sorry.
Until the draft.
Until the draft happens. So with most of the Wyatt, there is one Wyatt family member, former, on Raw right now, and that's Braun Strowman. But he has flown the nest.
I was going to say I don't think I think
Brony.
Brony, Brony the Strowman going back to the Wyatt family. It feels like a massive step back.
Yeah.
In his character development,
he'd be subservient to
totally.
to Bray,
he doesn't need Braun. Like Wyatt needs Braun more than Braun needs Wyatt at this point in time.
Yeah. So not Braun either. So really, Bray has to start from scratch.
Which is great, which is what we were saying on last week.
How to rebuild Bray Wyatt. Go back and watch that episode. We had now we know where things have fallen after the Superstar Shake-Up. Do you want to hear my picks
for
Raw
for
the new Wyatt family?
Hit me with your rhythm sticks.
And I'll talk about how we would go around... actually, I'll just say that now. So Bray Wyatt starts to have matches on Raw, and he's obviously going to feud with Finn Balor right now, as he appeared on the top of the time. Did you hear my joke? I was quite proud of the joke today in the news, where it was talking about Finn Balor's concussion after he got knocked loopy.
Yeah,
and he stands up and he's like, "Bray Wyatt's on the screen. Did he knock me into SmackDown?"
Very good.
Ha ha ha. I love it when I talk how much I like my own jokes. But anyway, yeah, so he's feuding with Finn Balor, and then you have you sort of keep them apart. I don't want to see the thing where it's just tag match and various combinations, and I see them fight over and over again before they finally compete at a pay-per-view. So Bray Wyatt starts to run through people on Raw, and as he runs through them, they disappear. So he's like, follow the buzzards, holds them... after he's given them a Sister Abigail, gets them in the Sister Abigail position, then the lights just cut out after he does a little promo, and then they're gone. You don't see them for a bit, right? The first person he takes on is the Big Show.
Yes, so that's a good Braun Strowman replacement. And the Big Show's got nothing to do. At the moment he's just coming out and just punching people. And if this is going to be the last year of his contract, I think they could do something really big with Big Show.
Yeah, and he's in great. Yeah, that works.
Yeah,
and he's in great shape as well. He's still kept the physique
and a strong beard game.
Yeah,
beard game.
I don't know how easy, which is perfect for the Wyatt family. I don't know how easy it would be to Sister Abigail Big Show. That might be quite... So whatever way you need to do it. Anyway, Big Show's the first person to go. Next up, Rhino.
Yeah, Rhino works. Yeah, that's a great one, yeah.
So I feel like he's a good Wyatt family member. And then you have the dynamic of Heath Slater wandering around being like, no, it's serious. He's gone missing. He was my best friend. He was going to go on holiday with me and my 20 kids.
Yeah.
And so you've got that then. And then finally, on the third week after these people have been disappearing, Bo Dallas.
Yes.
And the announcers finally start to play up that Bo is Bray's brother.
Yeah.
And Bo's scared now.
Bo.
he's scared because everyone else has been disappearing.
Yeah.
And then Bo finally disappears as well. And then they don't come back until Bray faces off with Finn in the final match. And it's not a clean finish in their first match. It's just Bray, Finn, normal match. Then the lights go off, come back on, Big Show on one corner, Rhino on the other, Bo on the final one. So he's surrounded.
Only works if they all change their outfits.
Yes,
as well.
yeah,
So
of
you
course.
need to have
Sorry,
Big Show dressed like a Wyatt family member.
Yeah.
Rhino not in the singlet, in something different as well, which would be great because Rhino's never really changed his gears. That'd be really interesting for him.
Yeah. Big Show would look great in sort of the Braun, not exactly like Braun Strowman, but in that sort of outfit. He could look like, he's got the big bald head, the big beard, the crazy eyes. It worked perfectly. Now I've got another one.
Yeah, this one I'm not as keen on. No.
I'm not. Now I'm talking about it. I don't really like it either. I said in my notes, Summer Rae as like a Sister Abigail, but not Sister Abigail, but almost like the Munsters. You remember that show?
Yeah. I don't remember.
And you had the beautiful normal one, and everyone was like, but actually she's crazy. She looks beautiful. She looks normal. She's almost like a Venus flytrap.
I'm all for adding a female member into the team because I think that'd be great because then you can kind of bleed that storyline into the women's division.
Yeah.
But I'd rather them not pick someone like Summer Rae.
Who would you go for?
Someone like Emma would be quite good, or like
Emma by herself.
Well, I was about to say Dana Brooke as well, especially because Dana Brooke's storyline at the moment appears to be that she wants to go out on her own.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of great if she goes out on her own but keeps losing, and then realizes that I do need to have a protege.
Or she's just a really
and then she just
manipulate.
Exactly. So she just she realized that she does need a protege, but she picks the worst one. She doesn't pick a protege. She falls into a cult.
Yeah,
like that's a good storyline progression for her character.
What about you? How would you?
Well, okay. So here's
build the Wyatt family.
So I like that team.
Thank you.
I really really like that team, and so I'd kind of like the idea of then Bray and his new family feuding with Finn, and then Finn's being beaten down. Looks like he needs some help, man.
Oh, this is the next segment. This is that's fantasy booking the Wyatt family.
Oh, right, okay, sorry.
Because this is just the Wyatt family section.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I would actually just do what you did, more or less, really, because I kind of like that.
Any other people on? I was thinking Kurt Hawkins. He could have
but he's a
rough
jobber,
look.
though. Like, that's the problem, is that if you're going to bring...
so's Bo. I get you can't have two. I really want Bo in there. So yeah, you're right.
I was going to say, like, you can't just fill it up with random names. Like, so I really like it as well. And as I said, I like to have a female in there because that can kind of bleed into other divisions. But back to what I was saying before you rudely cut me off.
Sorry.
I love the idea then of Finn needs help. And who is that help but Galanderson come down to the ring and they help out their club brothers. And they do the Too Sweet, and now you've got the club as a unit fighting against the Wyatts. But what I also kind of like as well is that before that happens, the Shield start teasing that they're going to be helping out as well. Because in the background, because they're like, well, we're the Hounds of Justice. Like, so the Wyatts are they're running roughshod over Raw, and the Shield come in there like, well, no, we're the Hounds of Justice, we're going to take care of this place. But then when the club reform, they're like, well, yeah, but we're going to take care of this. So then you've got tension between these two babyface teams that are just like, well, no, we're going to take this out because we're the best here. And then so they can feud together. And here's where the other thing I would bring it in. So not only are you doing this three-way faction feud, you bring up Sanity from NXT.
And do you think they're too similar to the Wyatt family?
No, not at all, because they're like this. They're like a post-apocalyptic punk look thing. I just sort of like the idea of them just coming through and then just destroying all three teams, and creating this kind of massive four-way feud to build up towards past SummerSlam into Survivor Series. And having a four-way.
Oh, that's the end game, isn't it?
That's the end game is doing it. So
that's
like
real good.
So that's then your fantasy warfare come to life, or whatever that tagline was, where you are doing this faction war. You're doing faction war.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
Bring back war games.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, they keep talking about bringing back war games, but they can't because by doing war games, you don't have as many seats.
I think you can have war games without the two rings. I think the two rings, frankly, has always been ridiculous. I don't think that's a good part about war games. The thing I like about war games is we're going to send this guy in next, the 2-on-1 advantage. It's kind of like a Royal Rumble, but with two teams. Yeah, that's great. But what's that angle? I'm interested in the angle you get. How do you get Galanderson? Because you can't just have, oh, yeah, we're friends now. I'm going to help you out. No. How do Balor and Galanderson team up?
I suppose you could play off the we've only ever seen them on camera together once, and that was at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
And that was when AJ and Galanderson were backstage, and they were like, "Woohoo! We're too sweet! Yeah, club stuff, New Japan."
That was a good. That was nice.
Insider.
Yeah.
Like wrestling fans will get this. And then like it pans across and Finn Balor standing there. And they're like, "Oh, hey, Balor, more insider stuff. You know, let's go over. Let's book this." And then he walks away because he doesn't need them. So I think you're going to build off that. So Balor's being beaten down. He's like, "I need some friends over here."
That was SummerSlam.
Was it SummerSlam? Yes,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
SummerSlam.
yeah.
Sorry, you are right. Yeah,
Sorry.
because he was injured by that point.
We get dragged over the coals if I don't correct
I
you.
guarantee there'll be comments before you corrected me. But then you can have him like walking around backstage going, "Look, I need some friends back here because I'm getting beaten up all the time."
God, I thought Finn Balor was here. Would have felt the abs before you see it.
Maybe like Balor's asking the Shield for help, and the Shield just aren't giving that help. And then like maybe he asks Galanderson for some help, and they're like, "No, dude, you blew us off. Like we don't need you." And then you could do so. One of my favorite moments of heels joining up with faces is from the invasion angle.
Okay.
So you can tell I've been watching a lot of 2001 stuff at the moment. But there was a moment in which, oh no, it wasn't. It was either no, it wasn't the invasion. It was in fact the Team WWE versus the Nexus. From
much more
from
recent.
SummerSlam.
Yeah.
When John Cena destroyed the Nexus.
2011, 2010
Yeah,
maybe.
I think
It was around then.
Around then. But there was a moment in which the Team WWE were trying to recruit Jericho and Edge to come and join them.
Yeah,
and they were like,
yeah,
"No,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
we don't want to join you guys. You guys suck. Like, you keep beating us up, and we don't. You need us more than we need you."
Mm-hmm.
And then there was that moment when they were in the ring, and then the Nexus were beating up Team WWE, and they exited the ring. They were like, "We don't want a part of this," and just started walking away. And they both stop, and Edge just puts his hand on Chris Jericho's shoulder. They look at each other and they go, "Yeah." And then they run back. So you can have that with Galanderson as well. So like Galanderson, like they come down to the ring to help, and they're like, "No, we don't want any of this."
Just have it so if Balor's been really terrorized for weeks, this is after the big reveal of the Wyatt family being rebuilt. Maybe a couple of weeks down the line, Balor and Rollins, I don't know, because those are two guys that really should get on, are facing Galanderson in some stupid Raw match.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
And then the Wyatt family like, "We're going to beat you up." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And Galanderson like, we're about the money.
Yeah.
We're about the green and being mean. Not that green. Money green.
Yeah.
And they walk off.
Yeah.
And then they do the spot that you talked about. Then
Yeah.
you've also got if you have a Shield member in there, maybe that's the impetus off of that.
Yeah. That's
All these other people are pairing up.
I guarantee you they'll do
together.
none of this.
Here are the cards again over Luke's face. If you want to catch up with that WrestleTalk show so far, or watch the latest WrestleTalk news, click one of these videos here, and of course press subscribe. That's Luke Owen, I've been Ollie Davis, and that was wrestling.